This is the book of Deuteronomy. On the windswept plains of Moab, with the Jordan River gleaming in the distance, and Canaan visible but forever out of reach for him, Moses, 120 years old, eyes clear and voice unbroken, rises to preach his final sermon to the people he has led for 40 years. 2 million Israelites stand at the edge of everything God promised. A new generation born in the wilderness who never knew Egypt's chains. And Moses knows he is about to die. So every word he speaks now is a father's last breath of love. Moses opens his first address by calling Israel to remember the journey. 40 years from Horeb to Moab, every step of it, and names his own failure. He struck the rock in anger at Meribah, and God told him he would not cross the Jordan. Moses recounts the appointment of judges and leaders at Horeb to help carry the burden of governing millions, then retells the sending of the 12 spies into Canaan. How the people believed the fearful report, refused to enter, and condemned themselves to 40 years of wilderness wandering. Moses recounts Israel's military victories on the east side of the Jordan, the defeat of Sihon king of the Amorites at Heshbon, and Og king of Bashan, whose iron bed was 9 cubits long, and the distribution of their territories to Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh. Moses calls Israel to hear and obey the statutes and judgments he is about to give them, warning them to add nothing and take nothing away from God's commands, and declares that no nation on earth has gods as near to them as the Lord is to Israel. Moses reminds Israel of the terrifying day at Horeb when God spoke from the fire and the mountain blazed with flame to the heart of heaven, thunder, darkness, and cloud. And they heard his voice but saw no form, so they must never carve an idol in any shape. Moses proclaims the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and commands Israel to love God with all their heart, all their soul, and all their strength, and to bind these words on their doorposts, their hands, and their foreheads. Moses warns Israel of the greatest danger waiting in the Promised Land, not foreign armies, but prosperity itself. That when they eat and are full, build fine houses, and multiply gold and silver, they will forget that it was God who brought them out of Egypt and gave them the power to create wealth. Moses commands Israel to destroy the Canaanite altars, smash their sacred pillars, burn their Asherah poles, and cut down their idols entirely, showing no mercy and making no covenant with them, because the Lord has chosen Israel to be his treasured possession above all peoples on earth. Moses recounts 40 years of wilderness provision, the manna that fell each morning, the clothing that never wore out, the sandals that never fell apart, testifying that God humbled Israel, tested them, and sustained them to prove that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word from God's mouth. Moses delivers the law of the central sanctuary. Israel must not worship wherever they please, but must bring their offerings, tithes, and firstborn animals to the one place God will choose to put his name, establishing the principle of centralized worship before Jerusalem is even built. Moses warns against false prophets who perform signs and wonders, but lead Israel after other gods. commanding that such a prophet must be put to death, and against entire towns that turn to idolatry, which must be completely destroyed, even if that town is inhabited by Israel's own brothers. Moses delivers the law of the king. When Israel asks for a king like all the nations, that king must not multiply horses, wives, or gold for himself, but must write out his own copy of this law and read it every day of his life, so his heart is never lifted above his brothers. Moses speaks the blessings and the curses. If Israel obeys, blessings will overtake them, their cities and fields flourishing, their enemies fleeing on 7 roads. But if they disobey, the curses will be just as thorough. Disease, drought, defeat, and ultimately exile scattered into every nation under heaven. Moses renews the covenant on the plains of Moab, not only with the leaders and warriors standing before him, but with every man, woman, child, and foreign servant in the camp, and even with those not yet born, binding every generation of Israel to this covenant forever. Moses delivers the most devastating warning in the book, describing with heartbreaking specificity how Israel will be besieged, how the horrors of siege will reduce them to unspeakable desperation, and how they will ultimately be scattered from one end of the earth to the other if they abandon God. Moses sets before Israel life and death, blessing and curse, calling heaven and earth as witnesses, and urges with everything in him, choose life. Love the Lord your God. Hold fast to him, for he is your life and the length of your days in the land sworn to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses commissions Joshua publicly before all Israel at the tent of meeting. God appears in a pillar of cloud over the doorway, tells Moses that Israel will turn to other gods after his death, and commands Moses to write the Song of Moses as a witness against Israel for all generations. Moses sings the great Song of Moses before all Israel, declaring that God is the rock whose works are perfect, recounting how he found Israel in a howling wilderness and bore them on eagle's wings, but warning that when Israel grows fat and kicks, they will provoke God to anger and he will hide his face. Moses climbs Mount Nebo and stands on the summit of Pisgah, and God shows him the entire promised land spread before him, from Gilead to Dan to the western sea. Then Moses, the servant of God, dies there on the mountain, and God buries him in the valley of Moab, and no man knows his grave to this day. Deuteronomy reveals that God is not a distant sovereign issuing cold commands. He is a passionate, covenant-keeping Father who pursues his people through every desert, disciplines them with tears in his eyes, and refuses to let go of the ones he loves, even when they walk away. Every law Moses preaches in Deuteronomy finds its perfect fulfillment in Jesus, the true prophet greater than Moses whom God would raise up, the one who resisted every temptation in the wilderness by quoting Deuteronomy itself, and who sealed the new covenant with his own blood on the cross. The call of Deuteronomy is the same call echoing across your life today. Remember what God has done for you. Do not let prosperity make you forget. Choose life. Love him with everything you have. And trust that the one who led you this far will not abandon you at the border of what he promised.